Fight fans, welcome back to another episode. Your boy's hella excited for this weekend because we got a massive stacked card ahead of us. But this episode is not the breakdown of the card yet. I told you guys, when it comes to these big pay-per-view main events, I am doing a different type of breakdown. Individual breakdowns for each person. I'm not playing no more games. So tonight, we are breaking down the light heavyweight champion of the world, one of the most popular fighters in the entire game right now, Alex POATAN PEREIRA. Let's get into it. Let's go. I don't know why I said Pereira like Pereira. I don't know why, I just had to put a little emphasis on it for some reason. But, like I said, welcome back to another episode, and we are getting an in-depth look on the light heavyweight champion of the world, Alex Pereira. Now, Alex has been, in a weird way, one of the fastest rising stars who's been in the game for a very long time. He's been in the game, been kickboxing. Obviously, we know his history when it comes to the kickboxing with Izzy and all that kind of stuff. But he's been in the game for a minute. I mean, the man's in his mid-30s now. He's been fighting for a while. So, he has definitely been one of the fastest growing fighters I have ever witnessed. I've been watching this game for a long time. This is one of the fastest growing fighters I've ever seen. Come to such a, I don't know, just being such a fan favorite that even the people that weren't fans of him just enjoy watching him fight regardless. He has grown so much. And the reason he has done that is something that I've mentioned for years on top of years, and it's the willingness to actually take the fight, sign on the dotted line, right? If you look at Alex Pereira, that man is never not in fighting shape. You have to stay in fighting shape because any given moment you might have to take that call. And that's what he did all 2024 when he was taking on short notice fights, and at the end of 2023 taking on short notice fights. He's always ready to go. He's always there. Activity and being willing to actually get to the event. Step up in a situation when you weren't expected to. Like, those are things that bring you to the top. Now, for years people have talked about fighter pay and stuff like this, and I do agree fighters do deserve more money. I've always agreed with the fact that they deserve more money. I mean, you're literally going in there getting your head beat in or beating somebody's head in. It's one or the other, right? You deserve some good money. But one of the things that always pissed me off was guys saying they wouldn't fight unless they made X amount in their next fight. And I always looked at it as, if you just go and do the fight, win the fight, everything is naturally going to build. It's all naturally going to rise. If you sign on the dotted line, you show up, and you win the fight, it's all the natural rise, right? And that's what Alex Pereira did. Now, obviously, Alex had the history with Izzy when he came over, so it helped out a lot. It kind of gifted him a fast rise. But after doing what he did to Izzy, right, people were like, oh shit, this is crazy. He just beat Israel Adesanya. People wanted to see a rematch. We got the rematch, and he gets knocked out. All aura taken away. Just for that moment. Comes back, fights Jan Blachowicz in his debut at light heavyweight. Kind of lackluster fight. Nothing was crazy about it. Nothing was special about it. It was a decision fight. And then from that point on, that man has found his comfort zone in the UFC, in that light heavyweight division, and he has been on a tear. Now, you can snap back to, let's snap back to Yuri 1. If you snap back to Yuri 1, you saw in that fight that Yuri was actually having some good success early on. He was landing shots. The awkwardness of Yuri was definitely throwing Alex off a little bit. You know, Alex wasn't finding that shot until he did, right? Through that beautiful quick combination, caught Yuri with that left hand, got the finish. There was slight controversy. People felt like it was an early stoppage. It was a clear-cut stoppage. Knowing how hard Alex Pereira hits, the best thing to do was to stop that fight, right? So He ends up getting that win, moves on, beats Jamal Hill at UFC 300 in just a huge card, huge matchup, and crazy way. You know, he had the moment with Herb where he calls Herb off, goes in, gets the finish, right? So just unbelievable type of things that he has been doing, right? Quick finishes against guys who are at the top of the division. Knocked out Yuri twice, knocked out Jamal Hill, went to war with Khalil Roundtree and still got the finish, and that was a violent finish. But we got to take an in-depth look on some of the things that Alex Pereira does really, really well, and that he probably needs to work on, or could be a negative going into this fight this weekend with Magomed Ankalaev. So see, I gotta light the joint real quick. Pull the mic in a little bit closer. Don't know why she's so far away. So obviously we know that Alex's left hand is one of the most dangerous weapons that he has. But to me, the kicks are what set up everything that he is able to do. His kicks are very... He does not telegraph any of his kicks. His leg kicks are very straight, right? He keeps his hips straight. If you watch closely, he keeps his hips straight and kind of keeps them back at the same time. So if you're trying to focus on it, you can't tell that he's about to throw a kick. It's not telegraphed at all. So if you watch closely, he has such good kicks. And not only that, he's kicking with a different part of his leg a lot of the time to basically like almost like just cramp your leg up. Like he's really trying to make it hard for you to stand on that leg. And I'm not talking about like a Justin Gaethje style calf kick. He just keeps pinging your leg up with kicks that you don't see coming, right? And then he also does have good kicks up the middle towards the body. Obviously, we know he can kick high, all that kind of stuff. He's a fantastic kickboxer. And then you lead into the hands. That left hand is vicious. But if you're talking about the boxing, you can't just talk about the left hand being the only thing. The left hand can't be there if he doesn't set it up with something. And those leg kicks and his jabs set that up. One weapon I love that Alex has, and he uses it so well because he gets guys to really start to focus on it. Because it seems like anything that Alex lands is almost considered a power shot. Like he doesn't really throw to just touch, right? He's throwing to hurt you, right? So he throws this body jab. It's one of my favorite weapons he has. He throws that body jab in there, and it starts to fuck with guys because he does it from such a long range the way he does it, and he brings you in. He forces you in for the counter. You come to counter, and boom, the left hand is there. It's just the way he sets things up. He has a plan on the feet. Now, a lot of people believe that this fight is going to end up moving itself to the ground, which is crazy to me because Magomed Ankalaev is a kickboxer. I mean, he came into the game as a kickboxer, right? Obviously had some sort of wrestling in his career somewhere, had to build it up, but he came in the game as a kickboxer. So a lot of people that assume it's just going to be a wrestling match, it might not be. This might be an on-the-feet fight, and it's honestly a dangerous fight for both men, if we're being real, right? A lot of people want to count out Magomed Ankalaev, and I'm not the biggest fan of Magomed Ankalaev because I really don't want to see him as champion. In my opinion, there hasn't been nothing that he has brought to me that is exciting like Alex Pereira, right? When a guy like Alex Pereira is reigning on top, you want to see this go on for as long as it possibly can. Right, it's the same thing as when Volk had the belt at 145, Izzy had the belt at 185, you know, George St. Pierre at 170, Anderson Silva at 185. You want to see these champions who have such big names and the aura around them continue to rise up, and you want to see Alex continue to win. So it's not that I'm hating on Magomed Ankalaev. It's just I really want to see the aura continue with Alex Pereira because it's been enjoyable. Right, it's been enjoyable. It brings us something as fight fans to watch, pay attention to. And I mean, the man don't even speak English. He says one word. He says Shama. Always just saying Shama. And that's it. That's all he has to say. He can communicate with fight fans by just saying Shama. Shama. So I mean, like that's it's fun. It's fun, but like I said, it's a dangerous fight for both men. So in this fight, when you talk about the negatives for Alex Pereira, he has to be careful, obviously, on overthrowing any punches, because Magomed Ankalaev is going to look for the takedown when he does get in trouble. Now, like I said, he is a kickboxer. I think the fight is going to be standing more often than not. But knowing that Magomed has that in his back pocket, he can eventually use that at some point and make something of it, right? Alex comes in, he makes Alex miss the left hand, and he's shooting for a double leg. Now, I don't see Magomed Ankalaev being that quick and speedy of a wrestler. I don't see him that explosive, but he is dangerous. It's a dangerous thing. And another thing that Alex has to be careful with is his hands. He tends to keep his hands very low. We notice he gets hit with shots. It's not like Alex doesn't get hit. He gets hit, right? I do think at 205, him getting hit is way different than him getting hit at 185, having to cut all the weight that he cut for 185. But at 205, you know, you still got to be careful. He likes to keep his hands down. And Magomed Ankalaev has like sneaky power, right? He's knocked out some guys, but it's sneaky power, right? It's weird. It's hard to explain. If you watch the knockout against Ian Cutelaba, the combination just didn't seem like it was one that was starting for a finish. I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't look like he is an extremely powerful puncher, and then all of a sudden he's got sneaky power. So Alex just has to be careful with his hands. So positives is Alex has to work the leg kicks. We know this already. Set up with the body jab, set up with the jab to the head, and it's not like don't search for the left hand, but force it to become a thing, right? Force Magomed Ankalaev to make that mistake on the feet just by you making him maybe drop his hands from you throwing a couple body jabs. Because Alex's body jab, it gets annoying to guys, so it makes him drop. Now you got an opening by faking low, coming up high. Alex is tricky, his striking is tricky, so he just has to control the fight on the feet as much as he possibly can. Between the two kickboxers, Alex is definitely the better kickboxer, right? But he just has to be smart. I think he is a lot better on the ground than we do expect him to be. I mean, you're working with Glover Teixeira. You can't be no slouch if you're working with Glover Teixeira on the ground. He definitely is going to get him prepared in enough ways to be able to bounce back from whatever situation he ends up being in. But the dangers are overthrowing, getting taken down, right? And keeping your hands down. You got to keep them hands up. You got to keep them hands up and just work Magomed Ankalaev's legs, his body, and look for the shot up top. I can see it happening. I mean, it's one of those things, like, you can see it happening. I also, back when he was fighting Khalil Roundtree, I thought that Khalil Roundtree was one of those ones I'm like, oh, he's the sleeper. Watch, this is what's going to happen. The guy that's not even expected to do it is going to do it. And I was wrong about that. For this one, I feel like Magomed Ankalaev can do it. That's the thing. And it, I want to see Alex win, but I feel like Ankalaev can do it. But then I also feel like Alex could go in there and make it a typical Alex Pereira night. It's very possible. I mean, we've seen it happen now. We've seen it happen multiple times. I think the thing with Alex is he does have a skill of defeating the fighter before the fight even starts. So I wonder if he will have that intimidation. I don't think he's going to have that intimidation over Magomed Ankalaev, but I think Alex is kind of pissed with a lot of the shit talking that Ankalaev brought to this, saying that Alex was running and stuff like that. So who knows? Who knows how he comes into this fight, but I think it's going to be a good fight. It really is. It's going to be a good fight, but I think somebody's getting finished. Regardless, I think somebody's getting finished. But Alex opened up as the underdog. So I guess people do expect Magomed Ankalaev to win this fight. I guess we will have to wait and see. But if Alex is on point, he's very hard to beat. So we'll see what happens on Saturday night. But that's it for this in-depth breakdown. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you know when the Magomed Ankalaev breakdown comes out. And then, obviously, the full UFC 313 breakdown is coming soon. I'm about to record all of that right after this. So make sure to stay tuned. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Your boy Bando's out. Peace.